Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about the last chapter for C++1, the chapter 12, vectors. So first we will talk about the motivation for the vectors. So far we covered a few different type of the array. We have the regular integer primitive type array. So this type of array is not a class, so there is no such thing as class size, and there is no any function associated with it. Then we have a class of array class that we talked about last time, but this class of the array is fixed size. It's not flexible size. So today we talk about the flexible size array that's called vector. So vector is a little bit similar to the array list. In Java, and actually in the early days, Java also had a vector class, but later is actually mostly not used. Now it's mostly just the array list. So array list become very popular in Java. So right here in same thing for the C++, most of the time people in competitive programming may not use array or the regular primitive array. They will be using vectors because of its flexibility. But when you use the vector, you do need to know about the features of the vectors. So you will know about the complexity and related issue with the vectors. So vector is similar to array, and you can actually record in the name and the score, reading it into two parallel array, name array and the score array. So you actually read the data from the file and then putting them into the memory one by one. So it's a sequence of name in one container and sequence of the score in another container. Okay, this you can put them into two array or two vectors of the parallel vectors. Okay. So you can use array. You can also use a vector. So here you talk about a C-style array. You have static array and dynamic array, two types. Actually, dynamic is when you use the memory allocate. In C++, it's actually using new. When you use new, it's actually dynamic array. Okay, so this is C-style array that we talk about, or you call it the primitive array. Okay, and the capacity or the size of the array is predetermined, but you usually need to use a constant or a variable for it. Okay, so dynamic array, you use a new. So this is dynamic array, you use new. So dynamic array is use new, and then you will return a pointer that's the starting address for that dynamic array. That we covered this last week. Okay, next one is the variable arrays. And then vectors. So here, variable arrays, mathematical vector has predefined operation, fixed capacity. And then vector is can grow or shrink, can grow. Okay, shrink. Okay, you have the recess function. Okay, you have the recess function. Okay. Okay, vector. Vector is STL vector. STL means standard template library. Array is also in standard template library. ARRAY is a standard template library. So basically, this one is similar to the data collections in Java. Okay, so this is standard template library. And also vector is of generic programming. So you have the type variable that you need to specify. Okay, let's actually use an example to talk about it. So when you use a vector, you need to include vector. And you need to include using the namespace of std, both of them, you need them. And then you declare a vector of integer as numbers. Okay, let's get started from here. Okay, I create a file called user vector one .cpp. So first you need to include IOStream and then include vector and then using namespace std int main void and then the right bracket return 0. Okay, so you get started from here. Now you want to create a vector, so the easier one you can create is a vector of integer. Okay, a. Let's assume that you do nothing. You just do this vector integer a. Then let's see out a the size. Okay, let's look at this one. So this one is you just create a vector a. Still not coming up. So the size is 0. So right here, you actually declare nothing. So right now, this A is actually empty. So let's do this. So there's a function called empty. These are the basic functions that you can use. Okay. In Java, it may be called is empty, but here it's called empty. Let's save, that's wrong again. So empty function is a Boolean function, so it should return you 0 or 1 for the true or false. Okay, it actually is 1. So if you want to print out true or false, you actually do this. Okay. Okay, now you declare a vector of no element and it's empty. So this one is the first one we declare. Now you may declare another one. You say let's declare vector integer b. Let's put a 3 in there. Okay, let's look at this. If you assign the number is called the capacity. You actually will be predefined with a certain length. So let's type this one. Okay, so this one is you use a single number that will be declaring it will be declaring the capacity of the variables. Okay, so actually size is 3. Now, if you want to check every single data, let's do it. Okay, let's try this function toString. Okay, so it need to be the toString need to be a double value. So this doesn't work. Now let's see how this vector can be converted to string. Okay, so you actually convert it to string. You need to have a string and then using putting the begin and end into a string using the string constructor to do it. Okay, so let's do it. Let's see what we will get. Okay, so let's include a string. So right here, this one doesn't work. Instead, you need to create a string. Let's call it b string. Okay, and then you need to put in the beginning part and so it's b dot begin, the beginning pointer, and the b dot end pointer, the beginning and end of the vector. So your b is like this. Right now, you do have b dot begin and b dot end. These two functions actually give you 2 pointers, and these 2 pointers are the starting edges and ending edges of your vectors. I'm sorry. So basically, it is when you have B3 element 0, 1, 2, your uh, B that begin pointing to here, B that end pointing to the one that not pointing to anything. So these are the this is another way you start your creating your string. Okay, so it is create a string. Let's see how this string is. So this is when you actually want to convert the data from a vector to string. This is very useful, especially when you do the competitive programming. You got null. You don't get anything. That's because you have a 0, 0, 0. Okay, you got a 0, 0, 0. It actually is null. Let's do this. Let's actually put some data into there to see. Right now it's all zeros, so let's do B 0. Okay, let's do another thing. Let's do using B.Pio. Pio is put in the data with 65. Let's see. Okay, this one doesn't work. You have to do B.begin, B.end. Okay, both the beginning and ending part of the vector, and then with the 65. Let's try this one more time. Let's see. Is there a B? I mean, I'm sorry. There's no B. This one actually is not a instant function. It is a utility function. Okay, because we fill it with 65, and 65 is the A character, so you do see the A right now. Okay, so here we teach you the field functions and also the conversion of the so-called data into a string. Okay, but this one is character by character conversion. This is not the conversion of the integer into the string. So this one we may not like it. Let's actually do another things. Let's actually create a function called string. Let's call it toString function, and then I have the vector of integer, and then let's have the a vector, and then let's create a string as okay. This is string. You actually start with bracket, and then you s plus equal the right bracket, and in the end you will return s. Okay, and now you go into the middle. So for integer I equal 0, I less than beta size, I increase, and then s if I equal 0. S plus equals to string of a I. Okay, because it actually is a integer, comma plus to string. Okay, okay, this is standard way to convert a array elements to a vector. So we do not actually explain it why this will convert a vector into a string. So let's just use it. So this one, the string representation is character type. Okay, now we do have string, okay, bs1 equals to, this one is toString. Okay, right here, let's put in B, okay. Okay, so that's actually what we want. Okay, so you got 65, 65, 65. Now it's actually its number. It's no longer the character. So you like to capture formation, or you like the so-called element formation. You need to choose. So far we covered two things. One is you have a declaration of no capacity. Then you have declaration of three. That's only one capacity number, and without feeding data. Okay, without feeding data, and you fill it later. Now let's actually try another one. The third one is to have a vector of integers c. Okay, and now you do 5 and then it's 10. Okay, so let's do string cs equal to string. Okay, so this one is a string with capacity and feeding data. String and with capacity and feeding data. Okay, feeding you fill in 10 to each of the element. Okay, so you get 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. These are the third way of initializing your vector. One is no data, string data, and then string flight data with 10 field. Okay, next one you may put in the standard data. So let's do vector integer. If you want to do D, you can put in this 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is listing the vector by examples. Okay, so you put in 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it. Okay. So this one you use the constructor, but you actually put this into the constructor of the vector integer, and you got this. Let's try another one. Let's try if you have vector. So this one is different. It's actually different from this representation. You put the whole thing into the array. Let's do it. Okay, this one is if you use the whole thing to fill it in. Okay, that's E. E actually is the same as D, but it's different way to write. Now you can also do this. You can also vector F equals 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another way you can do it. As you can see, this vectors constructor, there are so many different kind of format in C++. It's very flexible. You can do it almost so many different ways. Okay, this one doesn't work. FS was not declared. Okay, right here. Okay, you still get 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, this is a different way to put in the data into the vectors. Now let's actually try one more time. So you may have a vectors. Okay, let's do this. Let's do F that begin. F that end begin. That's 2. Okay. We don't use the F that end. We use a begin plus 2. So you actually only get a 1, 2. So that's your sub vector. Okay, this one you will create subvectors. Okay, this one will create subvectors. So these are roughly the type of the constructor that you can have. You can also do directly copy constructor. Let's do copy constructor. Okay, you copy the content of the G to H then. Okay, let's call copy constructor. You copy the content of a array into another one. Okay, so these are roughly the different way of creating the vectors. Okay, now let's actually move on to use vector 2. Okay, let's copy a few code over here. These things I think we usually would need it, and so up to here. Let's copy this portion. Okay, the toString function and the inclusion file, that's what we usually need it. Usually, when you use a vector of integer, it's not really that convenient. So usually, when we do this, we may want to use the so-called type definition. Okay, and then you do vector of the integer as the vector integer type definition. Okay, you actually have the vector of double. And sometimes you may want to define type definition, okay, long integer as LLT. So you may define vector of long LLT as VLLT. Okay, vector of very long integers. Okay, these are different types. And then here you have a toString of the integer. You may want to change it to template. Okay. And then type. Then it is 15. Let's put them together. Okay, let's see, one moment, okay. It should be class T. Okay. That is to make it as a generic programming. So your toString function now can be used for different type of the data. So this class T, when your T come in, you can convert the integer, double, long integer into all kind of string using that one. So let's try. Okay, vi is an integer of vector a. Okay, and then let's do cout to string of a. Okay, so this one is free now, a vector of integer. Now we have vector of double type. Okay. Then we may also want to have a vector or long integer type. Let's try a long integer type. Okay, let's save it. And let's run. So use vector number one, we talk about the integer type and different constructors. Integer, this use vector number two, we actually go to use a vector of different type and we do a type definition. So here we create a vector of different contents type. And usually these are very useful when you do competitive programming. And if you need to have a vector function that can handle different data type, you can use a template to basically allow your toString function to handle all of the different types. So these are what we want to do in this vector, use vector two. Okay, so that's showing you the purpose. So that actually is an example of declaring a vector. So you can have the vector of the float. Usually we may use a VF. If you use a type define, okay, and then you have a constructor, and you can use, using the capacity of 15 or capacity of 25, feeding with A. Okay, these are different type of constructors. You can also put in value and sub list. Okay, so that is okay. Okay, accessing element is similar to array, so we do not spend time to talk about it. Okay, and you can do copy of array using the copy constructor that we talk about it. So this one, okay. Here we have vector of integer and vector of row as a parallel processor, and you actually enter it. It's okay. This one too easy. We just bypass it. Now this one is a function called size. There's a pushback. There's an empty. There's a clean. There's an add. These are the functions that to make your function for flexible size. Okay. And they are equal sign, double equal signs, and brackets. Okay, let's actually try these different functions. So let's actually call it use vector 3 then. And then this use vector 3, we will copy the function from use vector 2 for this different type definition and toString functions. We will use it. Okay, so this one's this one is actually changed the name. Is actually we have one extra later for the fire station. Okay, now let's create the main function. Okay, now we get this one, and then let's create it vi a of 3 elements, and let's see out a equals a, and then see out a the size. Okay, after that, let's do this. Let's do a dot push back 100. Let's redo this again. Okay. So pushback means adding the data to the end. So it's similar to the add function. Okay, it's similar to the add function in what? In Java. Java's array list. Okay, let's try another one. This is pushback. Let's try another one. Let's call it push from. It is not a DQ, double NDQ, so there is no push from. So this doesn't work. Okay, there's no such thing as push from. So let's do pop. It's called pop back. It's not pop. Okay. So again, it's not no double NDQ, so there's no pop run as well. So you cannot do this. Okay, you can only pop back, but you cannot assign it to data. It's void type. Okay, so you actually delete the last one as pop back. But if you want to pop like a normal pop, so you do integer g equals a dot pick. Okay, let's see. Pick, so it's called vector pick at last element. It's called back. It's called back. Okay, it's called back. Function. Okay, that's is so this one is actually a little bit like a pop function. You see it, you return it first, and then you delete it by pop back. Okay, these are push and pop functions. Okay, so the 100 being C on the Z. Okay, so this one is what you actually need to delete the last element. Now, let's try another one. So now the array back to 0, 0, 0. Okay. Now let's do insert. Let's assume that you actually have the data of 0, 0, 0. You want to insert 1 between the first two zeros. So let's see. Let's do this one is to vector insert. So there is an insert function, and you need to insert the pointer with data. Okay, so let's do this. You would like to do a dot insert a dot begin plus one with one. There's no A, I'm sorry. This one is a service routine. Let's see. No, it actually is an instance function. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's put these two in there again. Okay, this is similar to the add function with index in the vectors in the array list. Okay. Okay. Okay, so your one insert in there. Now this one is you want to actually remove element at index. It's called erase function. And this erase function, when you use it, you will use the pointer. You will use the pointer. So let's do it. Okay, the one being removed now. So far we demonstrate you the functions of the add pop back. So we demonstrate the pushback, pop back, insert, and remove. Actually, it's called erase. Okay, this one called pushback. This one called pop back. This one called insert. This one called erase. Okay, remember the name. Okay, and the setting function, you just use a array element to do setting. Okay, so that's we don't need to actually emphasize it. So this one is a setting function. Okay, setting function is easy, just array assessment. So let's just do it. Okay, so it is setting it to 100. Now, this one, let's do a clear. So that would actually empty your vector. Okay, go back to empty status. So here we demonstrate all of the functionality of size, pushback, upback, insert, erase, empty, clear, okay, everything. So that's the basic operation of your vectors. So far we demonstrate most of the function for the vectors like your array list. We including the constructors, we including the basic insert, delete, add function, remove function, set functions. Next one is actually look at the equals function and also the index of function. Sublist, we already talked about it. To use the constructor of the pointers, you can use a sub vector creation. Now let's look at the equals function. So let's look at it. So right now the data is empty. Now let's do it again. So okay, so this one will check whether two vector are the same using double equal signs. So this one is the equals function for the vectors. to string, we talk about it. You actually know better way to do to string, so we use the to string function that we created. Okay, let's try another one. It's called BIC. Okay, let's try A and C again to make sure it actually will create force. So this one, you can think about it as that equals function for vectors. Okay, next one. To check if vector contains some function, you can use a find function. And find function, what you will get is within the begin and end and the target element. So this is key value, and it will give you a so-called pointer. So this pointer doesn't give you the numbers, doesn't give you the numbers. So you cannot use it right away. So we need to rewrite this function into index of functions. Okay, let's actually do it. So here you not really easy to use the content function and index of functions. Because this one, you will also use it for every type of the vectors. So you would do this. So you would have two type variable. One is let's see, this one now. Okay, let's try. Oh, actually, which two type should be type name, not type name. Okay, so you find a IT, you begin and you try to find it. So if IT equals a dot end, even -1, else we find IT minus a dot begin. Okay, it's your pointer numbers. This one will calculate the index of. So right now we have 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Let's do integer x equals index of a 100. Okay, so these are two index of calculation. So when you use you assign the type variable to the template, okay, you need that. Otherwise, this one doesn't work, okay? You need to assign a type variable to there. Okay, anyway, let's go. So let's see. No matching function call auto eta begin, eta end. Integer. Let's see, find function doesn't work for it. This one, you have, oh, it need to be from the numeric. So find function, let me see, no, not numeric. Let's see, one moment, okay? Find function is algorithm. Okay, I'm sorry. Find function is algorithm. So that's the problem. You also need to include algorithm. Okay, let's see, include algorithm. Okay, anyway, finally we got it. Okay, so this 100 is not there. 2 is in the index 1, so we actually found it correctly. Okay, we found it correctly. Let's try another one. Let's try VGD. Now we change to the double type and then search for 5.0. So far we cover the dot string, that equals tattoo string function, similar tattoo string function, that index of function. And then you can also do contains. So contains, you use that equals index of greater than equal to 0. That would be the same as contains. So that's actually easy. And then you have equal signs for equals. Okay, so this so far we are fine. So basically, so far we covered the basic operations of the vectors, the majority of the important vectors function that you use in a Redis. Okay, for the advanced vector processing is similar to the Java R, so we pretty much will not cover it. The same as your APCSA course. Let's see any other things that we would like to cover today. So empty function at the capacity. Now this one, let's try resize. Resize, you will resize the data with a size. And you can initialize with certain data value. Okay. So let's do this. Resize is something that your Java don't have. So right now your A is 3 data of the 0, 100, 1, 0. Okay. Your A up to here is this one. Okay, now we want to resize. So A dot resize. Okay, let's see what A becomes. This function is what Java's already don't have. So as you can see, resize it actually putting in zeros. The first three is 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see. A is 1, 2, 3. Okay, A is original 1, 2, 3, but in resize, you put in 0 for the new ones. So right here, if you resize and then put in 100, what happened? Okay, you fill in everything with 100 there. Okay. But if you want to resize and actually reset every data of your original data, then your A need to be basically filled with all zeros. So let's do fill data begin. Data and this one should to resize the array originally changed to 100. Now I resize back to 3. And then I fill every single one with 10. This one actually is shrinking. Okay, shrinking and reset it to 10, 10, 10. So these are the resize function, and this one resize is not what we have in array list of Java. Okay, field vector, we finish it. Then the so-called this accumulate function that's equal to the sum function, and is in the numerical library. You can do the sum. So this one is a sum function. So this portion right here is it's actually a numerical function called accumulate. Let's do this. So you need to include numeric right here. You have A is 10, 10, 10. So let's do integer sum equal to accumulate. of eta begin. Eta n 0.0. So here you have a 0.0. So if you have two array, you can basically accumulate and then put it as an initial value and continue to accumulate. Okay, we show that. So right here, let's do C out sum. As a standard, we do have another one, BIP of 20, 20, 20. Okay. And then you can have the sum equals accumulate. That begin. That ends, and then you start with the sum value itself. So you actually would add everything in sum with the B's values. So 10, 10, 10 plus 20, 20, 20, 20. That's what it will be. Okay, that should run it. Oh, B already has it. Let's do B then. B already been declared, so let's try P. Oh, here is actually, I'm sorry, I used a typo error. One more time. Okay, so 10, 10, 10 plus 20, 20, 20, actually this. Let's call accumulate function. There are several functions that you can use in the numeric. Let's see, numeric. That's a standard template library, okay? But here we don't try to teach you that. Try numerical functions. Okay, so here you do have ABS functions, maximum function, minimum functions, exponential function, power functions, cosine, sine functions, ceiling function, flow functions. These are CMAS, I'm sorry, these are CMAS. And numerical functions right here, you have accumulate. I'm sorry, those are standard mass functions. Here you have accumulate, inner product, partial sum, ITO, A, GCD, LCM, midpoints. Okay. These are different functions that you have. Let's actually try to see image. Okay, we don't see that. Anyway, that's actually is something you can further explore the algorithm library and also the so-called numerical libraries. There are a few functions that are very useful. So far today, we basically cover everything that you needed for array like vector in C++, and then advanced array processing will be similar to the Java part. So we will end our C++1 right here. Okay. Thank you for participating in this course and wish you successful in the future. Okay. Good night and bye-bye.